a lot of changes coming to the Charleston International Airport. In this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I sit down one-on-one with the director of the Charleston International Airport, State Senator Paul Campbell Jr. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and download my free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores. And listen to this interview tomorrow on iHeartRadio. State Senator Paul Campbell Jr., welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Hey, listen, it's a pleasure to be back with you, Quintin. I just enjoy working with you so much. It's fun.
Likewise.
And you bring a lot of knowledge to the Low Country about the activities we have going on in this part of the world.
Oh, thank you. Hey, thank you. I, do my best. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
And Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. It's going to be a big year for South Carolina, for the airport, and for the citizens of the state. We're going to have a nice year.
As a matter of fact, I want to go back to what Brody Hart wrote for WCIB a couple of weeks ago. He says this quote, $305 million expansion is coming to the Charleston International Airport. It would include an addition of a third concourse, which officials say will cost $150 million. Officials says that it needed to be happening so that they can meet the increasing numbers of flyers. How many flyers are you hoping will help with this expansion?
Well, basically, when I came here about 6 years ago, we had 2.6 million people getting on and off an airplane. In 2019, which we just concluded,
right,
it's going to be something between 4.8 and 4.9 million getting on or off an airplane, probably closer to 4.9. This year, we expect to have another 300,000 or 400,000 passengers come through, so this year we'll go over the 5 million mark. And I don't see this growth. It may slow a little bit, because how many people can come to Charleston and get on an airplane here? But we still expect to see a good growth, in the 300,000 to 400,000 people for the next several years. So we're going to have a new concourse. Right now, we've got 10 gates at the airport, 15 gates at the airport, and we started off with the 10, and we've added 5 more. So basically, what we got to really try to do is anticipate when we're going to need those gates, and the only way we're going to do that is get Concourse C, and that should come up. We should break ground on that sometime late 2021 or maybe early 2022. It's going to take about 2 years to build it, but we got to do that because we're going to continue to grow in this part of the world. It's both a business growth and a tourism growth, and so you got to plan and anticipate ahead of time. This time we'll go to the parallel with the terminal.
Yeah.
Instead of going out with the legs like we have now, with Concourse A and Concourse B, we're going to go to the west, and at some point we'll be able to go out there and go out to the perpendicular to the terminal. So we got to plan ahead. We got to get ready to go. We would be hurting today if we didn't have common use. What common use does is allow more than one airline to use a gate at one time.
Okay.
For instance, we got one gate to share about 3 different airlines, and now it's the same on the ticket counters. The ticket counters, common use is allowing us to get by with the space we have currently. But as we grow, we're going to have more gates. We're going to have more ticket counter space in the ticket lobby area, and we've got to continue to grow the airport as far as the retail and the food and beverage shops. We got to grow parking, as you see right now coming into the airport. We got one parking deck expansion going on. It has over 3,000 cars, about 3,005 or 6 cars. But we've left room on the other side to do another parking deck when the appropriate time comes. We've got to move the radar installation so Boeing can continue to grow. So we've got a lot of activities going on. And we've added a fuel farm.
Oh, yeah.
Because when I first came out here, I would say probably 60% of the traffic was the small regional jets. And now that's probably only 5%, maybe on the off season it's maybe as much as 8 or 9%. But you're seeing more wide-bodied aircraft, which takes more fuel.
Sure.
So we got to continue to plan for the future. It's just great what this part of the world is doing to South Carolina and the Low Country area. People are coming here. They want to come here to visit. They want to come here to open a business, come here to work, and we got everything we need in this part of the world to have a thriving industry, and we have a thriving airport to go with it.
And the article goes on to say this. Paul Campbell, obviously you're the CEO of the Charleston County Aviation Authority, says 180 flights coming out in and out of Charleston International Airport during peak travel times. What happened to peak travel times over the past 2 years, say?
Well, it's gone up significantly. Since I've been out here, we now go to 32 destinations nonstop. We've gone to the wide-bodied aircraft, so we can cover more areas. We've just continued to add airlines. Well, I think it's 4 or 5 airlines when I came in here. Now we're up to 9 airlines that are serving this part of the world. So we're going to continue to try to grow that. We'd like to have more airlines come in and get better service. What we want is to have attractive destinations that people want to come here, that come and enjoy themselves. And we know we're the first impression when somebody comes to the airport. We're the first impression for this part of the world. Many times, somebody will come here on vacation and come back and bring their business here. We know we're a big part of economic development. We also know we have a lot of businesses in this part of the world that's got to get out to sell their product or go somewhere to do business. And for instance, you've got over 30,000 people working in the digital business,
Right.
so they got to get out to sell their software.
Sure.
But you've also got Boeing, and you've got Volvo, and you've got Mercedes, and you've got all the businesses that have been here for a long time, such as Capstone, such as Robert Bosch,
Right.
such as Nucor, such as Century Aluminum, and then you've got all the other things that are around here that we're going to continue to grow. So we got to make sure the airport's ready for that growth. We can't get behind. I won't let us get behind at the airport.
As a matter of fact, you said that to Brody quote, we got to continue to prepare the airport of the future. We can't get behind. How long have you been preparing the airport for the future?
We've been working on a strategic plan since I got here. So basically, we've got a 5-year and a 10-year look at the airport.
Right.
We've even got a long-term look at the airport, a 20-year look. When we designed this new parking deck, we're designing the expansion where Concourse C is going to be, we had to look at the footprint of the airport so that something we build today doesn't get into something that would impair growth for the future, impede growth for the future. So we had to lay out where we're going to be in 20 years. And so to do that, then you know exactly where you got to put your expansions, so you leave room for where you're going to grow. We're going to have to, when the 526 is expanded,
right.
We'll get to new interchanges, we'll have a new access road coming into the airport. We had to plan for that, so that we can get people into and out of the airport efficiently. And so we had to plan for all those type of things. We're going to have the old access road, international, is going to become part of Boeing property, because they're going to further grow in the future. And so we're going to have a new access road coming into the airport. So we had to plan and allow for that, the access to the airport, where it's going to come in and join the current loop road around the airport. But we've really got to stay ahead of growth at the airport to service everybody in this part of the world.
I know that obviously construction is going to expect it to start on the new concourse in late 2021, and officials hope to have it completed within 2 years. The airport, as you just mentioned, will build a fuel depot to help serve larger aircrafts coming into the low country. But Mr. Campbell, in your mind, do you worry that the project will be outdated when it's completed?
I don't think we can be outdated. South Carolina's growing. Anything east of I-95 is where the growth is in the state. It's going to continue to grow there. And Charleston has got everything that people want to come and see. It's where people want to work. The culture, the quality of life in this part of the world is super, so people want to be here. And I don't think it's going to slow down. I think South Carolina's going to continue to grow. I think we're in one of the top 10 states in the nation in growth, and I expect that to stay there. So people want to get to where the weather's good, where they can enjoy themselves. We have the ambiance of having culture. You have a good place to do business. You've got good restaurants. You've got good hotels. You've got good tourist destinations. So people want to come here. It's not going to slow down.
Construction, again, obviously is expected to start on the new concourse in late 2021, and obviously it will be completed within 2 years. Who exactly are the contractors for this?
Well, we'll have to go out on competitive bid. Right now, we went out on competitive bid for the parking deck, and Roy Anderson is doing a terrific job on that parking deck. So they'll certainly be one of the people we consider. But we've got a lot of folks that work with us as preferred partners that we've actually just added. I think it's 7 or 8 partners that can do that. So they'll look at it. They'll come back and give us a quote on it. But it'll be a competitive bid. It'll be a competitive quote that will go out to all the major contractors to build that new terminal and a new concourse, the Concourse C. It's going to take a pretty good sized construction outfit. So there'll be 8 or 10 people that will probably be interested in quoting on it. We'll make sure that what they do will meet our specifications, and what the quote that meets our specifications, that's the best value for us, is the one we'll choose.
What exactly are those expectations now?
Well, you got certain codes you got to meet, and you got to meet certain requirements for this airport. You got for the passengers.
Oh, yeah.
We want the passenger comfort to be number one in priority as far as we do here. Our motto is that number one, safety is our number one, but comfort. What we tell people is your travels are our pleasure. And we're going to continue to push that. But we've got certain requirements we have to meet as far as code goes. We've got certain requirements from the FAA we have to meet, certain security requirements. Right. So we've got to look at all those type of things when we go out for a contract to make sure these people can do that.
What is the ideal competing bid that you want?
I want somebody that's done something like this before. I don't want to be the first time a contractor's tried to do something of this magnitude. And there are a lot of contractors out there that do this type of work. So we'll go out and look at it. You got a lot in this part of the world. You got a lot in South Carolina. You got a lot in the Southeast. So we'll open it up probably to the Southeast to see who wants to apply. to do the work we've got to do here.
And I know, too, you also said this quote, more than one airline is using the gate, same with the desks. If you get behind, you start losing interest from airlines and destination. How much interest is in this airport right now?
There's a lot of interest. That's why we've added some additional number of airlines and flights. If you don't continue to grow the airport and have the facilities to support the growth, the airlines will start looking elsewhere. And so we want to be the destination of choice. We also want to be the business destination of choice. So we got to be the tourist destination and the business destination. And to do that, we got to provide the facilities for this area to grow. It's much like the port facility.
Right.
We're the airport, they're the seaport.
Right.
And we've got to continue to grow South Carolina and take care of the folks in South Carolina.
And I know also Channel 4 reads, says actually, Campbell says the expansion will eventually allow for more airline flights. How many airlines and flights are you hoping for after this Concorde expansion?
Well, we get up in the summertime, we get up to about 90 flights coming in, 90 flights leaving every day in the summertime. And right now we're probably up to 75 or 80. It's kind of off season in January, February. That's our two slow months. But as we get back into March, actually from about the time the Southeast Wildlife Expo starts, tourism starts. And so you can actually see the tourism and the flights crank up from there. But it also brings business. Southeast Wildlife brings a lot of people that will be here for business, or for the exhibit, the exposition, but they'll also be looking to put jobs here. So it takes off at Southeast Wildlife and it slows down after Thanksgiving.
Now you talk about jobs. Where are the minority jobs for this project?
Each one of the contracts that we do has a minority component to it.
Okay.
And we continue to push the disadvantaged business enterprises for the women-owned, the minority-owned enterprises, the small businesses. We put that in our contract, so we have certain specifications that any contractor, no matter how large it is, has to have a component for the small businesses.
Small businesses. And I know obviously federal grants will pay for a portion of the expansion, with the rest funded by the airport according to Channel 4. And I know Charleston International Airport does not collect state or local taxes. So what portion of this expansion that the federal government will pay for?
We're going to get as much money as we can from that's our taxes that we pay to Washington.
Right.
FAA takes care of it. It's got to be flight related, passenger related, and so we can get some money out of it. So typically, if it's a full size grant, they'll go up to 90%. We don't expect them to cover everything that goes with it. For instance, on the parking deck, they're paying on a small portion of it because that really doesn't impact flights and airlines and passengers. They do have to have a place to park, but the FAA says no, they can park somewhere else to get someone drop into the airport. So we're having to furnish that with our own money. You're right, we don't get any tax dollars from cities, states, or counties or anything else. So we have to bring our revenue in so we can afford these type of things. The new parking deck is a revenue bond. In other words, we expect with parking to pay for that area.
Sure.
And so, but the Concourse expansion will be a general obligation bond. And so we've got to raise the money to do that. Each passenger also, when they fly to here, pays $4.50 on the ticket for a passenger facility charge that the airline charges. And we get that money back through the FAA to help us expand the airport. This money we generate here. It's our own money.
Own money. Now, once this expansion is completed, how will this help with airline prices?
The more competitive you have on airlines, the more airlines you have, the more expensive, the less expensive the tickets are. So all that brings down, when we brought in Southwest to begin with, and then we brought in JetBlue, then we brought in Allegiant, then we brought in Frontier.
Right.
Okay, and that's bringing prices down. So we're going to continue to see those type of things go. Right now, Delta is the only airline that flies to Atlanta. You saw where Southwest is going to start flying to Atlanta. It's going to be interesting to see how that works out with the the ticket price, the revenues to go to Atlanta. So, but that competition always brings airfares down, and we expect to see it. We probably have the cheapest airfares in South Carolina. That's Columbia, and that's Greenville, and that's Florence, and Hilton Head, and Myrtle Beach.
Sure.
We're the largest airport in South Carolina by a good bit. I'm not quite 4 times bigger than Columbia, not quite twice as big as Greenville and Myrtle Beach. We're continuing to grow and maintain that advantage because this is the part of the world people want to come and see.
Exactly right. Well, State Senator Paul Campbell Jr., thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you, Quintin.
You're welcome.
It's a pleasure.
Likewise.
And an honor.
Oh, same here. Thank you.